Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamar Youngblood. I want to use my 5 minutes to talk about the history of Black and Brown people here in our city, because I'm not sure if our Black council members fully understand why we are currently in the situation we're in today. From the very beginning, Black people have been in the city. After the Lenape and the Puritans, we were the third community here in Newark. Black people were brought here as enslaved labor to make life habitable by cutting trees, building roads, planting crops, and working in homes for the Puritans. As Newark grew, Puerto Ricans arrived and worked alongside Black people in the factories, laying bricks, building churches, and helping Newark become one of the great industrial cities of the world. But while we built this city, we were denied the same chance to share in its wealth. So during the Great Depression, Newark was already one of the oldest cities in the country, and its infrastructure was falling apart. At the same time, more Black and Puerto Rican families were moving here to find jobs. So the arrival of new immigrants combined with the crumbling living conditions and having no money drove many white men into despair. And the pressure became too much for them, and they began taking their lives at 5 times the rate of others. And instead of blaming the system, they blamed Black and Puerto Rican people. And in response, the federal government chose not to fix Newark, but to protect white families by building the suburbs. The Federal Housing Administration and the GI Bill made mortgages cheap for white families, but denied loans in Black and brown neighborhoods, even when families could afford them. And because of this, Black and brown Newarkers were forced to rent in small pockets of the city. And the scarcity of units drove demand, so landlords packed families into poor housing, raised rents, and ignored repairs. Black and brown families ended up paying more to rent rundown apartments than white families pay for mortgages on brand new suburban homes. I have to repeat that. Right here in Newark, Black and brown families once paid more to rent rundown apartments than white families paid for mortgages on brand new suburban homes. And those suburban homes became the foundation of white wealth in America, passed down from generation to generation, while Black and brown families were left out. On top of this, the government introduced the man in the house rule. In the 1950s and 60s, families could lose welfare if caseworkers found signs that a man was living in the home. And the goal of this rule was to push fathers out of Black and brown households. Then came the war on drugs. Drugs were pushed into Black cities by our government, and when Black men were arrested, they were given much longer sentences for crack than white men got for powder cocaine, even though they were the same exact drug. At the same time, the media pushed the idea that Black women on welfare were lazy, even though more white women were on welfare and many Black women who needed it were denied. I share all of this to say that policy is the single reason why so many of us are in the situation we're in today. And despite everything, we're still here. If any other group in this country had gone through what we went through, they might not have survived. But today, in 2025, Newark still faces many of the same problems from 100 years ago. That is why we need compassion from our elected officials and fair policies that deliver real justice. Because if harmful policies put us in a situation, then stronger and better policies must be used to help us improve our lives. Newark is among the 1% of cities in America with a Black majority. And today we make up 43% of the population. This number is down from 55% when I was a child. This is why I am asking the Black members on this council to act. Newark is one of the last Black cities in the country where Black history is being erased. And respectfully, I saw you guys endorse Mikie Sherrill yesterday. So what policies has she promised to Black and brown people in Newark? And I'll also ask the same to the members of Black MAGA here in Newark. What policies has Jack promised to help Black and brown people in our city? Because as I mentioned, if harmful policies put us in this situation, then even better policies must be used to help us improve our lives. If we don't act now, Black and brown people will continue to face the same injustices and risk being pushed out of the very city our ancestors built. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.